This story is about a monster who lived among us, a neighbor that killed at night. My neighbor was a widower. His wife had died a few years before I moved in next door to him and his daughter. At first, I thought he was just an eccentric old man who liked to work on his classic car in his garage. He would tinker for hours on end, and sometimes late into the night, he de-revved the engine so that it roared like a hungry beast. It was odd, but not something I gave much thought to. One day, my neighbor invited me over for a barbecue. He was a jovial man with a booming laugh. His daughter was pretty and polite, and we got along well. After that first meeting, I often saw his daughter walking alone at night, usually returning home after midnight. As the weeks went by, she became a regular sight. One evening, I heard sirens in the distance. I went outside and saw a patrol car parked in front of my neighbor's house. An officer was talking to my neighbor, who stood with his head down. His daughter was nowhere to be seen. The police presence didn't last long, and soon the street was quiet again. In the following days, I tried to avoid thinking about what had happened. That is, until I saw the news report. On the TV, they were talking about a girl found dead in the woods, the victim of homicide. My neighbor's daughter had been missing for 3 days. Now the police were calling off the search. They had found her, but not alive. My neighbor had called me a few days prior to tell me he was going out of town and to keep an eye on his house. Well, now the house was a crime scene. It was then I noticed something odd. The walls of his garage were covered with photos of his late wife. In every picture, she was smiling. But there was one picture I had never seen before. In it, my neighbor stood next to a young woman who looked a lot like his daughter. But this wasn't the strangest thing about the photo. The girl in the picture had the same tattoo as the girl in the news report, the same tattoo that the police had said was a key part of their investigation. I couldn't believe it. How could my neighbor be involved in this? I thought he was a kind man, even volunteered at the local soup kitchen. Then I remembered how he always kept his garage door closed, even when he was working on his car. And I recalled how his daughter would come home late, usually at night. She must have been working a late shift. Yeah, that made sense. I told myself, trying to convince myself that everything was fine, that this had nothing to do with my neighbor. But deep down, I knew the truth. For more shocking stories about monsters living among us, stay tuned.